Hello, Buckeye fans. It's Patrick Murphy and Steve Hellwagon here from Bucknuts and 24/7 Sports. We are sitting at the Schottenstein Center. We just got done talking to Ohio State's transfers and watching the Buckeyes practice some basketball. So, Steve, we're a ways from the season still. We got all of fall camp, start of football, and everything, but basketball is coming. As we mentioned, there are a handful of new players on this team, three of which we talked to today. Of the three transfers, well, I guess just in general, what were your impressions of the transfers? We'll go into specifics and just what you think of this transfer class that Jake Diebler's brought in for this season.
Well, I think you have to look at them individually. Obviously, you're talking about, first of all, Kristoff Tilly, a 7-foot center coming from Santa Clara. And he's played, obviously, in his career against Gonzaga and then several high major opponents in his time at Santa Clara. So you would look at it and you would say, well, you hope that it's not a huge step up for him to go from playing in the West Coast Conference, one of the top leagues, outside the Power Five, to coming in to play it in the Big Ten. So you look at it, they need him to play like a 7-footer, and that is get some tough baskets inside, stretch the floor a little bit. He's going to be shooting a little bit from the outside. But defensively, he's got to be a good rim protector, a good rebounder. In his career, he's done a good bit of that at Santa Clara. So I think he comes in where you didn't really have a true center on your roster at all last year because Bradshaw was a complete, mess. And
non-factor.
You were playing Stewart at the 5, and he's more of a 4. You now have a 5 in a 7-footer with Kristoff Tilly, and then you have Ivan Jagovin behind him, and then hopefully at some point Josh Ojianwuna, the
right.
transfer from Baylor. We're not going to talk a whole lot about him today because we didn't get to meet with him during the interviews, but he's obviously out right now, trying to get his knee healthy, and not practicing even at this point so far. So hoping to get him full go probably by December if they can do it. And that's kind of the center position right now, those three guys.
Power forward, we talked to Brandon Noel, comes from Wright State. Similarly, has to step up a level. They both, I think, answered questions about that pretty well in terms of what they learned, how they think it can apply to Ohio State. But we've seen this happen before. Tanner Holden transferred to Ohio State. That one did not work out. What makes you think this will go better?
Well, that's a great question. Brandon's got a good body. He's 6'8". He seems like he's a leader when we're watching practice. He's yelling, trying to keep everybody engaged, and has a personality that he wants to be part of a winning team. He had some success at Wright State, but not maybe the crowning achievement type success that he was hoping for. And honestly, he was a 4-year starter at Wright State, so he's getting an extra year of eligibility to come to Ohio State. Said he dreamed about playing in the major conference basketball. They've played some teams like Kentucky and different teams like that over the years, and he's done well. He's held his own in those type games. I think you make a good point. It's one thing to do it, having to play 4 or 5 of them on your schedule, right, but to have to play 2 of them a week is a little bit of a different thing. And the good news is he doesn't have to play 40 minutes. You've got Amari Bynum, a true freshman, that can play there. You've got Devin Royal, who could slide back down there and play the 4 if they want to go with a smaller lineup at times as well. He was an undersized 4 for the team last year. So to me, you've got options. And I like Noel, and I'm going to say this, and I've said this, there are not many players coming back to play college basketball this season that have as many points and rebounds probably as Brandon Noel. As a frontline guy for 4 seasons or whatever the exact number of games was at Wright State, he has put up a lot of numbers over his time there as a starter. And you just hope, if he could be a 10-6 guy even, 11-7, whatever, something like that, give you 20, 25 minutes a game and help bring Amari Bynum along so that a year from now, Amari Bynum is ready to go and be the power forward that you need. That would be tremendous.
Yeah, and the two things that stand out about both of those guys, size, obviously. I mean, not just height, but they're both built. They look like they could fit in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Tilly at 7 foot. Noel, he said he's 6'8", but just looks thick. And then the experience. You mentioned it. A sixth-year guy, a fourth-year guy, guys who have say whatever you will about the different levels. They've battled. They've gone through it. They know what it takes to go through a basketball season, which is a big difference than the two guys they brought in last year in terms of the post. Two guys who had just played a freshman year, maybe higher upside you hoped, but these guys have actually done it, which I think makes a difference.
Yeah, and the point that we'll get to that's a recurring theme, as we talked about with the center position, they have options. They've got three guys, Jagovan, the Baylor transfer, OG Onwuna, when he gets healthy, and obviously Tilly. At power forward, you've got three guys. You've got obviously Noel, Bynum, and Royal. If you had to, you could move him there. And you didn't have that luxury last year. You were stuck. If Stewart, couldn't play, and Bradshaw was no good, I mean, what could you do? What could you do? So at least this year, you've got some options at those two positions. Maybe not quite as deep in the backcourt until Colin White gets all the way back. He's still trying to get back. And Matthew Grujicic, the transfer coming in from Germany, he played last year, I think, at Barcelona in Spain. And right now he is not with the team. He's at the under-20 championships in Europe, playing for the German team. And he wouldn't be eligible anyway to play. They're back here practicing right now, having a summer practice, until he fully enrolls with the start of the fall semester in probably the 20th of August or whatever. So he's still got a few more weeks until he can get out here on the court with the guys. He can do open gyms, but he can't be on the court when the coaches are coaching, so because he's not a full student yet.
Yeah, and probably, though he's not gaining the chemistry with his team,
he's
good
playing.
That he's out there playing
he's
right
playing
now
basketball.
In under 20s?
Under 20 European Championship, I guess.
The other guy we talked to, guard Gabe Cupps, a guy who Buckeye fans may be a little bit more familiar with, given he played the last 2 years at Indiana. He talked about the experience he got as a freshman when, because of injuries, he was forced to play a lot, started most of their games. We saw him against Ohio State. I remember when we went there to Assembly Hall, playing against him with Xavier Johnson out. It's a guy, grew up in Ohio, knows a lot about this program, talked about coming here with his dad to watch the state tournament. Sounds like excited to be back, can give Bruce Thornton a little bit of a break, and you can play Bruce Thornton off of him. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think people who have looked at Gabe Cupps and look at his stats, look at what he did at Indiana, are probably not all that impressed. But I think you have to dig a little bit deeper. This is a guy who won at an unparalleled level, both at the high school level and at the travel ball level with his teams. They were at the top, if not the best team, one of the best teams in the Adidas circuit a few years ago when he was playing for his dad as both his travel coach with Midwest basketball and as his high school coach at Centerville. They won a state championship. He was an Ohio Mr. Basketball. He joked when we were interviewing him that he said to Devin Royal the first few weeks, it's weird that the two of them are on the same team. They had some historic battles in the state Final Four a few years ago. And of course, Royal in the senior year, he was the Mr. Basketball winner after Cupps had won it the junior year. So great rivalry there, but they're putting that aside now. What I'm getting to is I think Gabe Cupps' best college basketball is in front of him. He was forced into the situation, baptism by fire as a freshman, and it didn't go all that great. And Indiana obviously hasn't had outstanding teams the last few years, and they kind of drummed Coach Woodson out of there. And they're going a new direction with Coach DeVries, and I think that Gabe saw this as an opportunity for him to go in a new direction. And here at Ohio State, obviously they've got Bruce Thornton as the point guard. And I think Gabe again gives you an option to come in and be the backup. I think if they had to, Tayson Chapman, if he's healthy, could be point guard. John Mobley Jr. could play the point guard. So again, you've got options, and you just need, particularly in the backcourt, you got to stay healthy. They cannot abide a bunch of injuries like they've had in recent years and different guys. Chapman hasn't played, really as a college player yet. So to me, Cupps is going to be a valuable piece of the puzzle. He'll make practices competitive for Bruce Thornton. He'll be there to be his caddy, play 10 minutes a game, maybe play 5 or 10 minutes a game at the shooting guard position. And really, that gives him a chance a year from now to come back and potentially fight with Marcus Johnson, the hot shot, the next Mr. Basketball coming to Ohio State from Garfield Heights to come in. And those two would be competing in the preseason next year for playing time at the point guard position. And now Marcus doesn't have to come in like Bruce did 3 years ago and have to play 35 minutes a game, which is too much for a freshman. We saw it with John Mobley last year. They ran him off his rails with 30, 34 minutes a game because they didn't have anybody. You couldn't put Quez Glover in a game. I mean, you
lost Michi Johnson.
You could, but you weren't going to win those games. So, you just had too many guys who were non-factors. If you got beyond the starting 5 on that team last year, the contributions were few and far between. So that won't be the case this year with this year's team. And if you get Thornton, you look at it. If you get Thornton, Mobley, Royal, and then to do what they've done, and then Noel and Tilly to just sort of do what they've done in the step up to the Big Ten, you're in position right there. You're going to win 20-some games. You're going to contend in the Big Ten, maybe not win it, but top 5, top 6 in the Big Ten, and certainly make the NCAA tournament. So, they've got some tough games that they've scheduled that, they have to go on the road to Pittsburgh, a team that beat them here at the Shot last year. They have to go, they play Notre Dame at home, going to play Virginia down in Nashville, going to play West Virginia up in Cleveland, and they're going to play North Carolina in the CBS Classic down in Atlanta. So those are going to be the 5 marquee games. We understand they're going to open in November against one of the Indiana, Fort Wayne IUPUIs. They're going to play 2 of those Indiana satellite university teams. I just don't know the exact dates. And they're also going to have a public exhibition, it sounds like, perhaps against Ohio University. So some things in the offing for this program, but I do believe they take a step forward. They were 17-15 last year. I think they missed the tournament by 1.5 games. I think
and there were so many that were that close.
You had one more win on their schedule, they might have been in if it was the right game against the right opponent. But if you put 2 more wins against any of the teams that they lost to on that schedule, they are in the tournament because they were the highest ranked team in the metrics at 39 in the Ken Palm and the one that they used, the net. They were the highest ranked team in the net at 39 and didn't get in the NCAA tournament. And the record didn't deserve it. 17-15, I just didn't feel if they beat Iowa in that Big Ten tournament game, they'd give themselves a chance. They would end up 18-15 instead, probably losing to Illinois maybe in the next round. Illinois had a great team, obviously. So, you never know how things are going to fall. But, I think better days are ahead for Ohio State basketball. Last thing that I really want to talk about, I was at Adidas last week. Alex Smith, the recruit from right over our shoulder in Upper Arlington, he's going to Prolific Prep down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And he's going to spend the winter in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, getting better as a player, going against the best players in the country in practice, and playing against the best competition in the EYBL Scholastic League. All the top prep schools are in that league, and they're going to play the best competition, and Alex Smith will come in here a year from now. I talked about Amari Bynum being in position to be that starting power forward a year from now. If Alex Smith has a great year at Prolific Prep, he could come in and compete with Amari as well for that job. But Anthony Thompson, he's the guy, man. 11 and 6'8" wing. He played 6 games at Rock Hill at the Adidas. He was in 30-point range 4 times. And they had college coaches lining the court. He was playing for Indiana Elite and put on a show. They'll be out in California this week. The Nike schools, which includes Marcus Johnson playing for Indy Heat, the other commitment in addition to Alex Smith, he'll be at the Peach Jam. Those kids on the Nike circuit, they got sequestered in Augusta for 10 days. They played from Wednesday to Sunday this past week, took a day off, and now they're playing the rest of the week in the Peach Jam down there in Augusta. So it must be nice to spend part of your summer, 10 days of your summer in Augusta, Georgia.
Worst places you can.
Yeah, how come we weren't Division I basketball prospects to get vacations like this? But Yeah, that's kind of the lowdown on that. We've got more interviews coming on all these top guys as well.
Yeah, and we were just in there. We got to watch the beginning of practice. Real quick, just the one thing I noticed every time we've kind of seen these guys this summer, the pace. Everything is pace.
Yeah.
They want to play fast. Even in the drills, they're going fast. They're competing. That's just stood out to me when I've watched them. What about you? Real quick?
Well, you have to. The drill that they were doing was taking the ball out of the net on a make and outletting it, and then outletting it further to the guy streaking to the basket, and they didn't want any dribble. So you got to be moving. I mean, the person getting that rebound has got to lead the guy at midcourt, who's then got to lead the other guy to the basket, and it's all timing. And, Big Ten is a hard league to get fast break points in. It's almost as hard as the NBA when you think about it, trying to get fast break points, just because teams do such a great job on their defensive rotations and getting back and stopping the ball. Stop ball, that's the big thing. And to me, if you can steal 8, 10, 12 points on fast break in those competitive games, you give yourself so much of a better chance. They're not going to get exploited in the paint this year, perhaps like they did. You've got plenty of fouls to give with Jagovin, Bynum, some of these other guys that you can stick in the game and defend the paint. And, if they call a foul, you send them the line, whatever, but you'll be able to defend the paint a lot better. And I think that'll help them as well. And scoring inside, they had no inside scoring threat at all last year. 0, zip, zilch, none, unless Micah Parrish got to the rim. So, that's going to help them too.
Yeah. As Steve said, we've got interviews with all 3 of those guys that are currently going up on our YouTube page. So check those out. We'll have stories on them on Bucknuts as well. We'll have videos from practice. Those will go up here in a little bit. So, yeah, we're headed towards football season, but we're doing basketball today. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Steve, thank you.
Take care, guys.
We'll see you soon.